Hey, in this video I want to show you multi-threading in JavaScript, and first of all, what's actually the issue. So I have a simple algorithm here that calculates prime numbers and tries to print them on the screen, so on the document. So let's just run that. You can see that there is a button up here which says click me. I just, while the calculation runs, click the button, okay? You can see nothing happens. It just printed out the very last prime number it found until 99,999, and if I click the button, nothing happens. This is because it's single-threaded and the thread is busy. It cannot take my user input. Now, how to solve this? We can actually move the whole code into a separate worker, which means it runs on a separate thread, in an ideal case, so on a separate CPU core. So let's do this. I have already a worker script here which contains exactly the same code, except that it's not printing the prime number to the document. Instead, it's posting a message back to the main thread with the prime number. And it executes the code on message. That means whenever a message comes to the worker, it just calculates that code. Now back in our app.js, which is our main JavaScript file, let's add this new worker. So what we have now here is we register the worker with the name worker.js. It's exactly how we named it. We add a new onMessage event listener, which means whenever we get a message from the worker thread, we just print the data that we get to the document. And last but not least, we send a very first message to start the calculation. Now, as you can see, it prints out every single prime number, and also if I click the button, it executes this alert. So it takes my user input, and that's very nice. There's one more thing you can do. Instead of having the logic in a separate worker file, you can actually do this on the fly, and I show you how. So we take the function that we had in our worker.js file, and it contains the same code. It just calculates prime numbers and it tries to post a message back to the main thread, but we are actually in the main thread, so that won't work. Right, but we can actually create a blob of type text JavaScript, put that function in there as a string, so we say toString, and then say onMessage in that worker thread, call the function. And then last but not least, we just create a new worker, same logic as we did it with the separate file, but this time we just have a function, alright, in our app.js file, and put that into a separate worker and calculate it there, so execute it on a separate thread. That's nice because you don't need to separate like your files based on where the threads are going on. You can just write your JavaScript code and then on the fly decide, okay, this function should be executed on a separate thread of threads so that my main UI is responsive and is not blocked. I hope that helps you. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions. See you next time.